What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of Today in Humanity, the show where we talk about news, opinions, and all kinds of nerdy stuff. I am the conductor of conversation, Noah Friscop, joined by my esteemed guest, Cale Harris.
Hello.
How are you this week, sir?
I am doing well. A little bit of indigestion, but nothing much of concern.
It was the Cheetos, I swear to you.
No, I refuse to believe.
I'll peer pressure you into losing your digestive problems.
That totally wasn't scripted at all.
It wasn't. We had some recording issues. This is the second take. Hopefully the rest will go smoothly, but Today in Humanity goes up nearly every week on the Conversation Geek channel as a YouTube video, and for the first time ever on SoundCloud as an MP3 shortly after. Last week we talked about Fallout 4. To listen to that, click on the annotation or go to the channel to browse the full catalog of illustrious conversations. And without further ado, let's begin with the news. There are 5 items this week. Starting with yesterday's New Hampshire primary. I've said I don't know how many times on the show, I don't want to talk about Trump anymore, but it's kind of impossible at this point because now we're really ramping up the actual voting and the debates that are actually mattering in the grand scheme of things. So Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders pretty much destroyed the rest of the competition. They all gave speeches, but of course Trump was just like kept retorting his "We're going to make America great again" slogan, as he does because he's not a politician, as we've discussed before. I don't know. Did you watch any of the footage at all? I mean, it really wasn't necessary.
I mean, frankly, at this point, I keep forgetting that there's still speeches going, but I think I've pretty much seen all I need to know and learned enough that it's pretty much the same thing that they're saying all the time.
Yeah.
And so if people haven't decided by the time they go to the states to campaign because, of social media existing, then it's kind of their own fault for not paying attention. Because even someone like myself, who is not very involved with politics, and I probably won't be as I grow older, I'm still aware of what they do. So, yeah, pretty much the same opinion as everyone else. Trump is more of an economic person and not so much political, and Bernie Sanders is either you hate him or you love him because you think he's doesn't know economics at all, or maybe he somehow kind of has some magic ability that will actually make everything work out. I don't know.
I'll kind of go into my opinion on Sanders later, but on the Republican side, Trump won with 35% of the vote, and Sanders won with 60% of the vote, just behind and just on his tail, Clinton with 38%. So a very wide margin on the Democratic side. Actually, it was pretty wide on the Republican side too. The next closest was 15.8%. Cruz dropped down. He was on Trump's tail for a while. He dropped down. That might be the last nail in the coffin for him. There's been a lot of bad press circulating with him as of late. Some of his ideas are coming out, and I didn't have an opinion of him until recently, but upon further research, I'm not quite a Cruz fan. I'll say that.
Would you care to educate me a bit?
He backtracks on a lot of what he says. Like, you go back and look at some things he said in the previous years, and now he's kind of double backing on his opinions. Same with Rubio. Like, the things he says, like, years ago, he's kind of backing up on. There's a lot of hypocrisy.
I mean, okay. Let's just say this now.
Okay.
60% of politics is hypocrisy. You can look at anything that any of the politicians have said, and different, like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. That's fair. I really don't have anything else to say at this point. Cruz won Iowa, but that victory was short-lived as he was now in third on the Republican side. Who dropped out? Someone dropped out of the race. I think it was Ron Paul dropped out.
Rand Paul, you mean?
Rand Paul. Is it Rand Paul? Okay. Well, Rand Paul dropped out. I was actually beginning to like him. He flipped off a reporter for saying something stupid, and I was like, oh, this guy's got it going on.
He's got my vote.
Yeah, he's got my vote, and all now he's gone entirely. I wish he would have given it a little bit more time, but it's running a campaign is not easy. I imagine it takes a toll.
And the Republicans, I mean, they've taken a long time to narrow down their candidates too. It's taken a
They
while.
still have so many candidates. Like, man, I don't want Sanders, but between the two others he's running with, I mean, he's a clear choice. O'Malley has not even a chance. He has no votes whatsoever.
I didn't know that person existed.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. That's how little popularity he has. But yeah, we'll see in the next coming months. I guess I'll refrain from saying we're not talking about Trump because he's very much ahead in this race, and it's going to be interesting going forward. Second item, I'm going to go into some gaming news now. Titanfall 2 will feature... I'm sorry. I'm tired. Titanfall 2 will feature a single-player campaign and maybe some magic, too. This is on Giant Bomb. A Forbes interview with the game's lead writer offered fans a glimpse at where the sci-fi shooter series could be heading in the next year or two. This is coming from Jesse Stern, one of Titanfall 2's lead writer. I didn't even know they had a writer. The writing in the last game was not anything special. So we are doing our best to deliver a vision of grand global colonial warfare, retelling the story of the American Revolution and the American Civil War in space. We imagine the next generation of immigrants moving out to the new frontier of an inhabitable planet. Rather than taking a traditional sci-fi approach to we wanted to look at how that would happen practically. What the ships would look like, and with machines that were designed for excavation and construction, demolition, and working the land, and what happens when they are turned into instruments of war. So this is an interesting statement. I really like Titanfall 1. Did you have any opinion on it, or did you brush it aside like the majority of shooter fans?
It wasn't so much being brushed aside. It's just that, for me, there just wasn't enough content to keep me playing for a long time. I had a great time while I did play it. But,
Exactly. That's exactly right.
like, it's probably something that, like, you do. You know, you need to play in bursts. But unfortunately, I don't own it. My dad does. So, it's not something I always have access to. But, I mean, you play for a little bit, and there's maybe only, like, a total of 6 guns, for example.
Yeah,
And
close
so
to that. There's not many.
there's not much progression. It's just after that, you just play.
Yeah.
Which, the gameplay was quite different compared to everything else that I've ever played. Because seamlessly just jumping in and out of a giant robot that you control was pretty fun. But the main thing that did it for me as well was, I mean, sure there was a bit of a background with it, but you play a campaign, and it's just a series of multiplayer matches, and even play as the same side the whole time, so you get mixed points of view.
Yeah, it
And
depends on who wins the online match that the story diverges, which is why I still haven't gotten the corresponding achievements for like beating the campaign as, the militia or the IMC or whatever they're called.
yeah, and so I mean, along with that, I played through the whole campaign pretty much in one sitting, and I don't think I even learned a bit of what was going on. Basically, all I knew at that point was that there was a corporation and some pirates basically fighting each other. And yeah, and I mean that's cool and all, but personally, I enjoy having some kind of background as to why these two factions are fighting each other in particular when I'm playing games. Because even Call of Duty, they have a campaign, and you at least know what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, there's these guys fighting each other on this map that I remember from the campaign level. So
Yeah.
it just feels like there's more of a backbone to it.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Titanfall, but this is coming from someone who started playing Black Friday, 8 months after the game had come out, with all the DLC, with the Horde mode, with all the maps, with all, the Titan voices and all that. And I absolutely love my time with it, but again, it was a lot shorter than I would have liked. I would argue it's one of the best shooters out there right now as far as gameplay. But yeah, there's just not much meat on the bone for it to be a compelling package. Like, had I paid $60 for it, my opinion might have been different. But because I paid $20, it was really positive.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's quite a factor right there. You get a lot of stuff for $20. Pretty fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the season pass for like $6 because it was Black Friday. So I got all the maps. All the expansions were out at that point. So I just dropped in. Downloaded them all, had a blast. I don't know. I agree with you yes, the campaign was shameful. They shouldn't have even called it a campaign. It should have just been like a glorified tutorial. But I think there's a world there. Like, yeah, like you mentioned, it's, you know, it's a bunch of pirates fighting this super corporation. I think that's really interesting over just menial stuff like land and resources. I think it's very realistic, and it's things that people would fight, you know, colonies would fight over in, you know, the space age, or in the next space age, if and when we, you know, get that far. They have a chance to really do something special with this series, and I think they will. Like, I was surprised they even had a lead writer at all looking at this. I'm like, there was hardly anything noteworthy in Titanfall to begin with as far as story. There was just a concept. It wasn't a story or a plot, it was a concept. And I think if they expand that into a narrative, and what they're saying with the American Revolution and the Civil War, like, that's really cool. I think they got something here.
So is there gonna be a second American Revolution in Titanfall 2? Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. They're saying, like, you know, it's people moving away from their homeland, you know, going out and searching for these new, these previously unexplored frontiers, and there's, you know, the superpower involved, which is the IMC, and then there's, you know, the pirates that, you know, band together and fight them. There's really nothing else that we know as of now besides the fact that it's also coming to PlayStation, because, you know, the first one sold respectively, not as much as they'd hoped it to sell, but it sold enough for them to go third party with it. Well, it was already third party, but it's no longer going to be just PC and Xbox One.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, which I will probably get on PS4. But I don't know. I'm really excited for it. There was an article that came out a while ago that said Titanfall 2, the next Battlefield, and Mass Effect is going to come out within like the next 12 to 14 months. So we got a year for all these things to come out. I'm still hoping for Mass Effect to drop in December, or fall or December, like they said, but we'll never know. Next item on the list. Sony is dropping some Crash Bandicoot hints. Are you a Crash Bandicoot fan, or was ever?
I remember playing a Crash Bandicoot racing game a long time ago.
CTR is my jam.
I never knew the name of it. I just knew it was Crash Bandicoot. And I just remembered, Crash Bandicoot himself. And then his arch nemesis, this big-headed guy.
Dr. Cortex. I had to look that up, so I'd be prepared for this. I couldn't remember his name. I was like, what's the mad scientist?
But yeah, that's pretty much the majority of my experience with Crash Bandicoot.
Just Crash Team Racing is a great game. If you have any Crash experience, you're in the right place, because that's probably better than the platformers. That was one of Naughty Dog's big projects. I mean, they had worked on a lot of things before Crash, but that was kind of their breakout. They tried to kind of make that the PlayStation's mascot for many years, but it's been dormant for a long time. They sold the IP to Activision, I believe, and something happened at PSX. Sony America's president was wearing a Crash t-shirt just casually. He just walks out on stage during the press conference, wears a Crash t-shirt. Everyone goes crazy, like, oh my gosh, Crash is coming back. And then just recently, like in the last couple days, PlayStation's Middle East Twitter account posted this picture of Crash. I'm like, okay, you know, the t-shirt thing is whatever, you know, he could be a fan, but why would they post this picture of Crash if they aren't planning on making an announcement?
That is interesting.
It is interesting. Like, it seems kind of unnecessary, and if they're just teasing the fans that are actually wanting it, because there are a significant number of people that are asking for a Crash game, but they want a Crash game from Naughty Dog. But why? Naughty Dog has graduated to such a higher level. Like, look at Uncharted 4. That game almost looks photorealistic.
I've only seen a trailer of it, and yeah, it looks beautiful.
It looked beautiful. Like, they've moved on. Like, if they're going to redo this, they better have another studio in mind. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a studio working on it right now. But don't waste Naughty Dog's talent on Crash Bandicoot. As much as I love it, even, like, they're so much better than this.
Don't waste your potential.
Yeah, don't waste your potential. Nathan Drake needs you, even though 4 was going to be his last run. But even Last of Us 2, like, they need to do that at least. Maybe let that earn its course and then see what goes on from there. But
now that we know it's a thing, because someone leaked it out, not really the most.
Didn't Nolan North say something?
I don't know who it was. I just know that someone said something on accident, and they're like, he got kind of in trouble for that.
Voice actors leak stuff all the time. I remember Kevin Conroy leaked Arkham Knight's existence, or long before it was confirmed to be in development. He was like, "Yeah, I'm working on this other Batman game." Oh, probably shouldn't have said that. Kevin's great, by the way. He's will forever be the best Batman. But yeah, Crash fans, they have a ray of hope to look out for in the future. I don't think you'll see anything of it until maybe E3. I'd be
Yeah,
very
that
surprised.
probably.
They open up, or no, they like open up the press conference, and then like again they have the guy come out in the Crash T-shirt and be like, "I've been waiting," and then like they just show it, and it's the greatest thing ever, and everyone just yeah. Next item on the list, Halo 5 is getting Griffball, among other new modes, but those aren't important.
Those are important to Griffball is everything.
Halo 5 Guardians is finally adding the fan favorite Griffball mode. Developer 343 Industries has announced in a blog post. Multiplayer designer Max Grossman confirmed the frenetic yet strategic mode, as well as other ball-themed modes, will launch in the Xbox One shooter sometimes later this month. This is exciting to me because the lack of gravity hammer in the game at all made me think that Griffball was impossible. I don't even think there was a ball, so they're adding both the elements that they needed. Like, this game has kind of been pieced together like a puzzle. Like, they've kind of just been adding the things that it should have had in the beginning, but they're doing it for free, so I can't really get mad at them.
Well, I mean, Griffball, and you say ball. I think
Yeah.
ball is more appropriate in quotes.
I mean, there wasn't any like there isn't even oddball game mode in Halo 5 right now, so this will open up for that, I assume, and then maybe other ball-based modes. But it looks cool. It's what you would expect a futuristic military ball to look like.
Yeah. And then it was just in Halo Reach, it was just a bomb, and everyone exploded, which I found to be really fun. It's just everyone charging in for the last, because one team knows they're screwed because the guy with the bomb's almost there, and then everyone just goes charge in for one last go at it, and then just everyone explodes.
Yeah, it's great.
There's always that like one or two guys left over still who didn't die from the blast. They just end up killing each other.
Nobody survives Griffball. It's the most dangerous sport ever created. Yeah, Halo Reach Griffball was fun, but I remember when it first came out in Halo 3, and it was like this new thing, and it was still like a custom game that you had to download or whatever, or set yourself. And then,
Everyone was fascinated with the fact that it was referencing Red versus Blue.
well, I mean, Rooster Teeth made it. Like, it was their thing. They're like, what if we did this, and then it eventually blew up, and now like you have Reach where like the actual Halo like announcer says Griffball, and they always say how like that was really an awesome moment to see, because like their little dumb custom game they made while they were drunk, turned into this huge game mode that everyone loves, and there's like MLG tournaments for it and stuff. It's cool to see. All right, what are the other? Okay, one of the other ball-based modes coming in Halo 5 is an upgraded version of Neutral Bomb Assault that for Halo 5 we call it Assault, and there was another one that I can't find. But yeah, that's important. They were the Griffball like championship league or whatever it's called has been like waiting, like, come on, when is it coming? We want to transition over from Halo 4 to 5, and they're like, nothing yet, and then they just dropped this, so I'm excited. There's been a good slew of monthly updates ever since launch. I don't know if it's quite enough, but they're getting some work done. They could use, like, Infection's still not in it, which is kind of unfortunate for me because I like Infection.
Yeah, that's weird.
A lot of people are wanting Infection. They're like, put in Infection. I don't care about Griffball. Yeah, you do. Let's be honest. Next time on the list, Super Bowl 50 happened. There were some trailers. I didn't even watch the game.
Oh, well.
I just looked up the trailers afterward. The
You mean
trailers,
the commercials?
the commercials. Well, specifically the movie trailers is what I always care about.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
As far as the commercials, besides the dog, monkey, what was it? Dog, monkey, baby thing?
People say in multiple orders. The one I'm most comfortable with saying is puppy, baby, monkey.
That one's fair. All right, puppy, baby, monkey. That was a thing. I think. I still don't know what to think of that, to be honest. Slightly nightmare fuel inducing.
Yeah, it was. Tyler showed it to me. It was basically just a commercial for Mountain Dew Kickstarter or something like that. I don't know what kind of version of Mountain Dew that is, but
Yeah. It's a Mountain Dew on Kickstarter. Pay for it now. Pre-order it.
Basically, the creature, all just for shorter terms.
The Beast.
He just crashes through this door in this apartment complex, and there's three guys sitting on the couch, and he just has a basket with ice and Mountain Dew in it. And he just sits on the table, gives some to the three guys sitting on the couch there, and gets up on the lap of one of them, starts licking his face, and he does react a little bit, but he seems surprisingly calm considering these circumstances. And then after that, he just starts like saying "puppy, baby, monkey" repeatedly, and like kind
That's
of
when
a
it got scary for me. I was like, oh, okay, this is some
yeah,
cultish
it's like
crap.
in like a chant kind of way, and they'd all just get up, almost like they're not really controlling themselves, to start dancing with him out of the apartment
The
complex.
puppy, baby, monkey, or whatever is like the puppet master, and they're all his servants.
Yeah, and so that's, I mean, other than glancing at the game every now and then and seeing that the Panthers lost, that was just that was pretty much the extent of Super Bowl for me.
This is the first year I probably in a long time that I haven't watched Super Bowl. Like I would usually I don't really care for football that much, but I would always watch the Super Bowl. And this year I just didn't feel like it
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I just don't care for the teams. I like the Broncos. I like Peyton Manning, but I don't know. I'm a lapse Seahawks fan. Like I used to really like them, and then they sucked for a while, and so then I kind of hopped off, and then they got good, and then I feel like I didn't want to hop back on because I'd be
You
viewed
feel
as
like
like
a
a
bandwagon?
bandwagon. Yeah, even though
Yeah.
like I was here through the rough, the dark ages.
That's what my dad says too. It's like I was here when they sucked,
I was here when
and
they
then
sucked.
he's still with them. He's always been a fan of them. Which he was kind of almost hoping for another like Seattle, Denver game, which it almost was,
Round
thanks to the
two.
Vikings missing their field goal. But then the Seattle's just got totally destroyed
I
by.
saw that in the highlight. That was pretty funny.
Mm.
The crowd was just like,
There's
yeah.
Seahawks just sort of like kneeling like thank God.
This was the hand of God moment.
They were playing really bad that game too. Like sitting there watching with my dad, he was really frustrated because their offense was horrible. The defense can only do so much. They were playing pretty decently, but like you can only do so much when only half the team is on their game.
Yeah, I don't know. It was what was the score? It was like 24-10.
For the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
I'll look it up actually.
I should have these things. I'm supposed to be the prepared one.
Well, I look up things every now and then while we're talking to. It was
That's true.
10-24. You were right.
Oh, MLG. Wait, can't say that. That belongs to Activision now.
Trademarked. There you go.
Trademarked. Boom. I actually just saw this today, but my favorite commercial of the whole day was a Turkish Airlines commercial starring Bruce Wayne. Did you see this?
I saw a little bit of it actually, which is funny because
It is
I think it was like an ad on YouTube or something, but I didn't watch it through.
it's the most Bruce Wayne thing ever. Like it's this really like corny, like it's not even really an airline commercial like it's supposed to be. Like it's kind of just showcasing Gotham City, but it just seems like one of the things that he would do, like these over the top publicity stunts.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, it really you can tell that Ben Affleck's really nailed the character because he didn't seem like Ben Affleck. He seemed like Bruce Wayne, and I really like that. I'm worried for the film, but these little things that I see give me a ray of hope because I've wanted this film since before I could even remember.
you're talking about Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for this for many years, but I'm worried.
I mean, it's not as big a deal to me for the same reasons, but I definitely think it'll be a good movie because it's
It'll
been the constant debate of every comic book geek around since like I don't know,
since Dark
Superman.
Knight Returns
Yeah,
when Batman just kicks his ass. But that I don't think that'll happen. I mean, it was when they showed off the antagonist, I would say, of the film that I got worried. Like it was this Doomsday, which is supposed to be like the thing that kills Superman, and they just drop it in the second movie. I'm like, are you serious right now? But anyway, we'll talk about that closer to its release. I'm really excited. It's like a day before my birthday, so I know what I'm doing for my 18th birthday. Go and watch a stupid geek movie. I'm excited though. What else we got? Oh, yeah. Okay, so we had Bruce Wayne, and then something that put me off guard is the trailer for Jason Bourne. I didn't know this was happening. So this was I kind of knew all the other trailers were happening, but this kind of took me off guard. I actually really like the Bourne movies. Have you seen them?
I've seen tidbits of some of them, like the part where he, blows up a house with a newspaper and a toaster and stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. I think it was the first one. I can't remember. They're all kind of very similar. They're kind of just like one ongoing story, so it's kind of hard for me to differentiate them in my brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks a lot older and a lot meaner. Like he bulked up after The Martian. Like in The Martian, he was kind of dad bod. Like he had some weight on him, so to speak. And actually, he had some weight, and then he got like super skinny because it's to simulate him being on Mars for that long. And now he's like ripped, and he looks way scarier than he ever has. So I'm really excited for this. There was the one Bourne movie that didn't even have him in it, which was kind of unnecessary, but this is bringing it back. I'm excited. Among that,
Well, you might want to mention who you're talking about for people who don't know.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Matt Damon looks ripped. Good job, dude. You have the money to get ripped though, so it's fine.
Yeah, he just does it so seamlessly. It seems just constantly changing his physique.
Him and Christian Bale do it really well. Like he gets buff and then like anorexic and then like buff and then like normal, and yeah. Among other trailers, there was Independence Day, which I'm still iffy about. X-Men Apocalypse, which looks cool. Captain America: Civil War. This movie looks fantastic. Couple Disney things. Ninja Turtles, which I'm cautiously optimistic about. Gods of Egypt looks terrible.
There's another Ninja Turtles coming out?
Yeah, it looks so Michael Bay, but at the same time, there's a couple things in it that are really cool.
Is it a sequel to the one that just released recently?
Yeah, it's all the same cast.
Oh, okay.
But it's another Michael Bay movie about aliens coming out of a portal in the sky. But the alien is Krang, and if you know Turtles, you'll know who Krang is, and that's kind of cool. But it's another movie about aliens coming out of a portal, and things blowing up unnecessarily. He doesn't even direct this thing, but you can just see it in how it's shot. It's ridiculous. He's doing a little bit more than producing, from what I can tell. Like he steps into the camera every once in a while. He's like, I want to shoot it this way. And he's like, this isn't even your job, dude. But, yeah, cautiously optimistic.
I never thought Independence Day needed a sequel.
It didn't. It was good how it is, but this actually looks good. Like, the aliens are coming back or whatever, and they've been waiting, and Jeff Goldblum's in it. It'll probably be okay. I don't think it's necessary, but neither was Jurassic World, and neither was several other sequels I could probably name if I tried. No Will Smith. Like, that should have been what killed it. But they continued on it, and it looks fine. It'll be fine. It'll be a solid 7 out of 10, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
One thing that's cool is that, a lot of these alien movies, like you never see the human race like kind of use the alien technology to build up our own technology, but in this they've taken the alien stuff and made like cool jets and like energy weapons and whatnot.
That makes sense. Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that?
We got all this crap here. Let's get super OP with all of our weapons and probably
got these massive wrecks of gigantic UFOs at your disposal
with super advanced weapons. Yeah, man. If I had to pick out of all the trailers, it'd probably have to be Civil War. Like that movie just looks impeccable. Like Winter Soldier was really great. It was just shot well. Like it didn't deserve to be as well produced as it was. So this and the fact that it's being directed by the same guys. And I think the same writer as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's May, so we'll just be graduating.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then the rest I'll see when I see it. I don't know. And got anything else to say about Super Bowl 50?
Oh yeah, we were talking about that, huh?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do. I didn't see much of it.
Yeah, I didn't really care. None of the teams really interested me. Peyton Manning should retire while he's at his peak. He wants to. He's thinking about it. I think he should. Just be an actor. He's a really good actor, actually, and like the commercial stuff he does, he's really funny.
Yeah, he could actually be. I know The Rock probably wasn't in football, but he could go the way of The Rock and more into movies and stuff.
I mean, The Rock was an actor the full time because wrestling's fake. But you see, yeah, I make fun of wrestling all the time, but it's still extremely demanding. All right, that's it for the news. Next up, video of the week. This comes from Conan, and this is going to bridge off of our Super Bowl topic, but Conan put out a great sketch reflecting Cam Newton's I don't want to say funny, but it's really funny. the dude was depressed. He thought he was going into the game really, really strong, and he's gonna win. This guy, he's like wearing a hoodie, and he's just kind of like slumped over. He's like, yeah, sure, we needed to play better, yeah. And then he just gets up and leaves. And then Conan put up this great sketch. I'll play a clip of it right now.
Just have a couple of questions.
You're right.
What happened out there?
Tried to do a joke and it didn't work.
What was going through your mind when you came out of the cliff?
Just was, thought like Cam Newton, and then made me think of fake Newtons, and
But why did you think calling Cam Newton a cookie was going to get laughs?
I don't know, bro.
So yeah, he basically, in obviously scripted fashion, he compared Cam Newton to a fake Newton just out of punniness. Is that a word? Punniness? Can I make that a word right now?
This is your show.
This
Do what
is
you
my
want.
show. Punniness. The act of being the personification of a pun, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think that made any sense.
It didn't. None of this makes sense. Again, anarchy.
Anarchy.
That's the
yes.
host. So yeah, I'll put a link to this video in the description. It's really funny. Now, we're here. Topic of the show. Fine Brothers. They messed up. They messed up bad.
really bad.
Real bad. So, you could probably elaborate this more eloquently than I. Could you care to explain this whole debacle?
Well, apparently, the creators of all the fine videos out there involving kids slash
Involving kids.
slash whatever, reacting to said object slash person slash video slash whatever, is deciding that they should copyright word react, which would kind of
React.
destroy every other React video trying to be made by any other user on YouTube.
React in all caps, mind you.
In all caps, yes, because that's how they always do it.
But they still flagged other people's videos. But yeah, go on.
And so, that has brought pretty much the entire YouTube community and others outside of the community on the internet into a total uproar because, just using the word react in your video title could get you flagged.
That's half the YouTube of people reacting to other videos.
Or no, yes, even reacting, not even the word being in the video title. It's just like people reacting to something. And so it's just... they've definitely lost quite a bit of subscribers due to that.
Oh, I am looking up the live subscriber count right now. I watched it for a good 20 minutes, like during the heyday of the whole debacle, and it was just dropping like flies. It was hilarious.
There's a live count for it?
Yeah, there's a website you can go on to. It has a really complicated name, so I won't try to pronounce it on the air. But yeah, just Google like Fried Rose sub count live, and it'll show you a counter that updates in real time. Right now it's kind of fluctuating. It's not really going down. They're actually gaining, and then someone drops, and then the gaining. But there's a point where it was dropping off by the tens and the dozens for a good solid few days, and they were above 14 million subs, excuse me, and now they're at 13,589 or 13,589.
They lost 1 million subscribers within like a week.
Well, it'd be like little over 500,000 because they were only like I want to say like 14,200,000, but I'm not quite sure on that.
Okay,
So
but they've gone down 1 million.
That is significant. That is significant though, and it was again dropping like flies, and now it's kind of stayed at where it is.
Would that name of the website be Akshad Metal?
Yes, I didn't want to risk it, even though I could have probably done it fine. I don't read well often, and I say that, but it probably would have came out fine. Yeah, this thing, I don't feel like they had malicious intent with it. Like their very first video that they put out, like revealing React World, this thing, they didn't seem like we want to take your money, we want to do this, and this, I thought this after they put up their reaction, like they were really, like they looked really sad. They're like, we didn't mean it like this, blah blah blah. To be fair, they kind of doubled back on what they initially said. They're like, we just want to create with everyone else. We'll lend you assets. We'll do this, this, and this. And like, they didn't say anything about lending assets in the original video. So they were kind of doing some damage control.
I think they saw it as a business opportunity.
They did, because I mean, look at how many React videos are on YouTube, and okay, I saw one guy in the comments thread. He said he had a very small channel, like just a few hundred subscribers, and because he got flagged for reacting to a video.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're, man, I feel like the reputation is just tarnished at this point. Like, that is a scumbag move. Like, you can do it legally due to YouTube's Content ID system, but it's not, you shouldn't. I mean, they've since removed both videos regarding React World. But, I mean, look at how many posts there are online about it, and videos and reactions and podcasts like this. But
What's interesting is that as we're talking about this right now, the counter's been going down and up, and
yeah, it's just
it's like it's hovering around 174 in the 13 millions.
Yeah. It's like they'll gain one and lose one, gain one and lose one. When in a few days ago, they were just dropping. They just would not stop dropping. Just a waterfall of subs just being sunk down the drain. I hadn't seen anything like it.
Side note, do you hear that airplane right now?
I do. You're by the airport, though, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're by, yeah. So, unfortunately, that's happening.
Well, we're not going to stop the show because people's travel. I mean, it's just a unfortunate fact of life. People got to get where they got to go,
Yeah. Anyway, I was about to mention something. Oh, yeah, apparently, so on the subject of subscribers, I've seen a lot of videos out there saying that the YouTube algorithm is kind of messed up in the way of subscribers.
It's
like,
absolutely messed up.
which is something you see all the time, right? Someone will have like 9 million subscribers, but then only get like 100,000 views or so on their videos.
Yeah.
It's, if it works the way it should, shouldn't they be getting at least like 50%? I would say, just to kind of run a lot of different factors and just to make a rough estimate out of pretty much my ass.
I mean,
At least 50% of the subscribers, if for views on their shows, like 9 million subscribers, you get 4.5 million views per video. I think that would make sense instead of 100,000 or something.
I mean, you look at the Fine Bros, like they had 14 million subscribers, but they would only get like a maximum of like 3 million views at most at their videos. So I mean,
those are the most popular videos.
Yeah, and they're really popular. And the least was like at least 500,000. So there's a pretty significant lapse in subscribers to view count. So view count is more important than subscribers at this point, because the way the ad revenue works is the length of the time watched in the video. So the more someone watches a video, the more money you get. And I just feel like people subscribe just nonchalantly and then kind of don't check on it again. Is what I'm guessing.
Well, the way it works is like they'll subscribe, right?
Yeah.
And it'll notify them a few times, but if they don't check on it in a bit, and it'll look at that and say, okay, they're not checking on these guys anymore. And that's either because they're releasing a lot of videos at once and people aren't, able to check it out all the time, or they might be a channel where they have a few different categories of videos they release every now and then, and people are only interested in one of the categories that they release. And so there'll be a few videos of the categories that they don't watch released at once, and the algorithm will think, okay, they haven't checked out their videos for a while. We won't send them notifications anymore. So either for that reason or the previous one mentioned, they won't be getting notifications, and they'll just kind of forget that they even subscribe to this account. And so the subscribe count is still there on the channel, but maybe only a small percentage of those people are still actually checking on their notifications and watching the channel anymore. So the subscriber count isn't really so accurate anymore. Like you said, it's more about the views over the subscribers.
It's views and watch time. And yeah, that's actually a good point, because there was for a long time before I significantly cut my subscriber count or my subscription count. There was a few very specific ones that even though I would watch their videos, like they would never show up in my feed of subscriptions or subscribed videos. Like I would have to go to their channel to see if they had uploaded anything. I mean, maybe it's just because they were overshadowed by, channels I would upload more often, and I wouldn't see it. But there were some times where they just would not be there. So I don't know how the algorithm works. It's really complicated and nobody likes it, but we have to suffer through it for now. And then I cut my subscription down in half, and it's a little bit better. But there's a couple like Team 4-Star, like I never see when they upload. And who else? I'm just looking at my subscriptions right now. Smooth McGroove, never see when he uploads. Granted, that's not as often, but I still never see it. Let me see. I think now it's not nearly as bad. Vsauce, I miss Vsauce videos a lot actually, which is weird.
He only uploads like sometimes up to half a month later, or just a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Sometimes later. It's a long time in between videos either way.
To be fair, the man makes quality, so I'll take the time. Maybe it just the time makes me, I don't want to say forget, because I'm always looking at his videos, but
It takes time to research the things too. Like,
Yeah.
he goes to different places in the world for some of his videos too.
yeah, because he can afford to again. But let me see. Hot Pepper Gaming, I see. Game Informer, I haven't seen their videos often. Penguins, he's always there. Critical. Yeah, alright, it's not as bad now, but again, as you said, there is a significant amount that don't get seen. I don't know. This whole thing, I'm gonna be curious to see where they are in like a year from now. See if they've built up, good. What am I trying to say? Like, built up their reputation to. I don't think they'll get to where they were, but at least close. Like, see if they'll hit 14 million again. I'm sure they will eventually, and people will brush it off, like, because the internet just brushes things off that happen. But
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while because, again, there's so many videos now of people reacting to the React world, and I want to feel bad for those guys, but I can't because I can see where it could be a money grubbing move, but I can also see that they wanted to, their initial message, it seemed like they wanted to be able to expand their platform, and they were
They
just
didn't really seem to think about what it would actually do to everyone else who makes reaction type videos.
And then like them saying like, well, you can pay us this, and we'll give you our assets, and it'll be labeled like our videos. Like, so you're making me pay you for something I already do. That's
It's not better. It's making it worse.
It's not better. Yeah, I totally understand. I feel like some of the uproar was a little too excessive. Like, there's a lot of people that I saw that said either on Twitter or whatever. They're like, I wasn't subscribed to the Fine Bros, but I subscribed to them just so I could unsubscribe and participate in this mass unsubscription. I had actually been unsubscribed to them for a while since they did upload a lot, and I was like, okay, only about like 2 out of every 10 videos that they upload I'd watch or be interested in. Like, they did one where Elders played Battlefront, and that was pretty funny. But I don't see myself going back to their channel now. Their gaming stuff was good, especially the gaming stuff with Elders. Like, anything in like first-person shooters, it was always pretty funny. Like, they would try to talk to people online, and they'd be like, and then they'd be greeted with the average Xbox Live 12-year-old, and they'd have their reactions to that. I don't know. They had a good format, but I feel like the whole thing was, if they just named their brand something other than React, something just so generic and something more specific, that they would have been able to get away with it. But since React is such a common term, like, you could abuse the crap out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, what else could they have named their series? I mean, I'm trying to think.
They could have just named it something involving their name, I guess.
Yeah,
like Fine Bros React. They could have done that instead of just React or something.
But it's React in all capital letters, so it's theirs, and they should own it and get all the money from it, of course. I don't know. It's past now. I'm glad it's past. If it went on any longer, it would have gotten real tiresome real fast.
I wouldn't say it's past. There's still quite a bit of upward.
It's still, but their subscribers are kind of plateaued. They're not
they
dropping off.
stopped.
I
Settled down.
I wonder. They were trending on Twitter for a while. Let me see if they are. I doubt it, because with New Hampshire and everything, there's more important things to talk about. No. Deadpool, let's switch up. Deadpool is this week. I just realized that a couple days ago. I'm like, oh wait, that's like imminent.
Yeah, if you keep forgetting how close that is, actually.
I'm really excited. Everyone loves it. Everyone's that's seen pre-screenings loves it. It's supposed to be really well written. It they say it benefits from its lack of budget. Like, it doesn't get nearly the same amount of money as a lot of the other comic book movies do, because it's I don't want to say lesser known, because it's probably over popular of people that don't really understand what it is. That, again, I hate the term bandwagon, but there's a giant bandwagon surrounding Deadpool. Like, people that have never read a comic book in their life, like, I'm the biggest Deadpool fan ever. So random, chimichangas.
I've only read like a couple before, but just the character himself is what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I read a run of one of his series, and it was pretty good. And then the game came out or whatever, and then I think they got a lot of fans from that. And
The
then
game's fun.
yeah, it could have been better mechanically, but it did its job. It was still a good game.
Yeah.
They're going to gain a lot more fans from this, so it's probably just going to get worse. Or what I'm complaining about is probably just going to get worse. But we'll see. They seem to have done it right. I mean, I can't speak today. Ryan Reynolds walked off the set with the suit when they were on the final day of filming. He's like, I've been waiting 11 years to make this film. I'm not letting them take the suit. It's mine. So I can imagine him just like driving home in the Deadpool costume, just like getting looks.
Or just like sitting on the couch watching TV, wearing it or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I've earned this. This is nice.
I've read this.
This is very nice.
Watching like recordings of the movie.
Yeah, he's like, because it's been a tough trying to get it made. He's tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried, and finally they're like, yeah, here's a very small sum of money. Go, shut up, basically. And then this is gonna blow up, and I'm sure they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, we ever doubted you. Want to make 17 more sequels, sir? He's like, no, I'm good. And then he just leaves with the suit, and he's never seen again.
He disappears.
He just rides off into the sunset.
All of his movies are all of his legacy.
Yeah, I like how they're referencing a lot of his I want to say less popular works in Deadpool, like Green Lantern and X-Men Origins. Like, they're saying he's like on a table and he's like, just whatever you do, don't make the suit green or animated. And there's a couple other references I'm sure you've seen in the trailer, but I'm excited for that. Good at Valentine's Day Sunday, and then President's Day is on Monday. I'm gonna be the one weird person who's like celebrating President's Day. I'm gonna get like President's Day cards and President's Day like themed candy and stuff, and just be that weird guy, just walking around.
Be that guy.
Thank you, Mr. Washington, sir. Yeah, I was talking to someone at school today, and they're like, I like for President's Day. It's overshadowing. Time for a new segment I'm calling Subreddit Simulator Comment of the Week. After the success, and by success I mean I laughed last week. Was it last week?
It was, I mean, technically last episode of part 1 of it, but
Yes.
2 weeks ago, if you want to be technical, because that's when we recorded it.
That is the right answer. So I decided that every week I would go on to r/subreddit simulator and find an amazing comment and share, and do a dramatic reading of sorts. This week, the comment is, I get for not pushing limits. There's too many nicotine. And then he pulls out a silicone sleeve for it. I know that go well with coffee. So here's to a ground near the level of surface oxidization upon each a pound cake and milk. This has been Subreddit Simulator Comment of the Week.
That's the most poetic thing I've ever heard.
Oh, you should hear the music. It's gonna be great.
Just okay, so nicotine, pound cake.
Let's dissect
Silica.
this. Let's dissect this. I get for not pushing limits. Okay, that's grammatically wrong, but whatever. There's too many nicotine, and then he pulls out a silicone sleeve for it. No commas or anything, right? I know that go well with coffee, so here's to a ground near the level of surface oxidation upon each of upon each of pound cake and milk. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right to say.
It doesn't, but I enjoyed it. I have a ton more on here, so every week I'm gonna bust out one for all you big beautiful kids out there.
A silicone sleeve full of nicotine goes well with pound cake
And milk.
and milk at ground level with oxidation.
Yeah, and we gotta push those limits. I get for not pushing limits, but we gotta do this.
We have to. It's necessary to make this work.
This has been episode 10 of Today in Humanity. If you enjoyed yourself, be sure to give a like. Remember, go to SoundCloud for the MP3 and come back to Conversation Geek next week for another episode. I would like to thank my guest, Kale Harris.
It's been good.
It's been good. I had a nice time. Fine bros, knock it off. Oh, wait, they did. And I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.